But let's do a thought experiment and imagine yourself as a Roman idolater in the first or second century. Your only calendar is the Roman calendar. Your holidays are festivals of idolatry. Saturnalia, Lupercalia, Vestalia, whatever. So you encounter the gospel and you decide to follow Yeshua, and you understand that you don't need to become Jewish, but should you keep on observing these festivals to Roman gods?
Yeah.
Obviously not. Do we have any calendar or holidays at all? So I believe that the early apostolic community would respond and say, yeah, we have a calendar. We have holidays. Let's teach you about them and their deep spiritual lessons, which are, rife with messianic revelation. Let us invite you into our spaces as we celebrate and observe it. The apostles wouldn't have laid any obligations on them, but it's unthinkable that they would have told first century, former pagans, you observe whatever holidays you want, just don't celebrate the Jewish ones.
To the point I made just a few minutes ago, you were giving up the life you knew. And part of those celebrations that the synagogue, that the Jewish people were celebrating, that was your new world. Not that, again, we're saying this a lot, but not that you became Jewish, but as a part of the family, so to speak, these are the things you do. And having spent time, as Acts instructed, in the synagogue, understanding the foundations from a Jewish perspective of Passover, and also being able to overlay Yeshua, Shavuot, obviously, between the commandments and the giving of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, there was certainly a place for the Gentiles to have a deep connection to this. Again, I will say this, under the guidance of the Jewish community. Mm-hmm. That's the important thing that we have to keep in perspective. You cannot exclude the people that you invited into this thing, that God has invited into this thing, and saying, sorry, do the Saturnalia thing. We'll do this. You stay over there. That was exactly contrary to Paul's instruction. You are obligated to give up all of the idolatry and all of those other things, and we're not going to leave you in a vacuum. You can come along beside us and we'll teach you and you can learn.
Yeah, and Jacob, you brought up this idea that the holidays, reflect Jewish experience. And, many of the holidays have that basic theme. They tried to kill us, we won, let's eat. The holidays are stories of Jewish survival. Now, to a Gentile, Jewish survival is worth celebrating. For example, with Hanukkah, yes, it's a completely Jewish event, right? If the victory of the Maccabees that we celebrate on Hanukkah had never occurred, there would be no distinct Jewish people today. Yeshua would have no people to come to. There would be no New Testament. And to this day, Gentiles would still be worshiping the pagan gods. I think it's worth celebrating that if you're a Gentile. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The plan of redemption of the world would have been canceled if any of these holidays had not happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's moving history forward toward the point where the Jewish people can take up that role as light to the nations. And so another example that you can then take, that you can look at and consider is that in the future when Yeshua establishes this throne in Jerusalem and rules the earth, all the nations are going to be celebrating the Jewish holidays. We see an example of this in Zechariah 14 in regards to Sukkot. So if they're going to be doing it in the future, how are we supposed to say, well, it's not really kosher for you to sit in a sukkah on Sukkot? It's like it doesn't make sense.